Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
So welcome back to our early review series practice quiz. This is now part 10 of our history and theory of architecture. And before we start with the quiz, you can get a piece of paper and write down numbers 1 to 30. But for every question, you can easily write down the corresponding letter of your best choice from the multiple choice. You are given 10 seconds to finalize your answer. Then at the end of the quiz, count your total number of correct answers and check to what category your score belongs. So if you are now ready, we can now start. Number 1. The property of light by which the color of an object is classified as being red, yellow, green, or blue, or an intermediate between any contiguous pair of these colors. A. Saturation, B. Hue, C. Chroma, and D. Value. And our correct answer is letter B, hue. So hue is one of the three dimensions of color, the property of light by which the color of an object is classified as being red, yellow, green, or blue, or an intermediate between any contiguous pair of these colors. Saturation, on the other hand, is one of the three dimensions of color pertaining to the purity or vividness of a hue, also called intensity. And chroma is the degree by which a color differs from a gray of the same lightness or brightness, corresponding to saturation of the perceived color. Number 2, the degree by which a color appears to reflect more or less of the incident light, corresponding to lightness of the perceived color. A. Value, B. Hue, C. Saturation, and D. Chroma. And our correct answer is letter A, value. So value is the degree by which a color appears to reflect more or less of the incident light, corresponding to lightness of the perceived color. Number 3, a color produced by mixing cyan, yellow, and magenta pigments, each of which absorbs certain wavelengths. A. Additive color, B. Subtractive color, C. Reflected color, and D. None of the choices. And our correct answer is letter B, subtractive color. So that is a color produced by mixing cyan, yellow, and magenta pigments, each of which absorbs certain wavelengths. A balanced mixture of this colorant or subtractive primaries theoretically yields black, since it absorbs all wavelengths of visible light. Number 4, a color produced by combining lights of red, green, and blue wavelengths. A. Additive color, B. Reflected color, C. Subtractive colors, and D. None of the above. And our correct answer is letter A, additive color. So that is a color produced by combining lights of red, green, and blue wavelengths. And this light or additive primaries contain all the wavelengths necessary to produce a colorless or white light. So, dito, white ang napuproduce, sa additive, sa subtractive na napuproduce is black. And number 5, a circular scale of the colors of the spectrum showing complementary colors opposite each other. A color chart, B. Light spectrum, C. Pigment table, and D. Color wheel. And our correct answer is letter D, color wheel. That is the circular scale of the colors of the spectrum showing the complementary colors opposite each other, also called a color circle. Number 6, a warm color that appears to move toward an observer, giving an illusion of space. A, advancing colors. B, additive colors. C, receding colors. And D, subtractive colors. And our correct answer is letter A, advancing colors. So that is a warm color that appears to move toward an observer, giving an illusion of space. Advancing colors ranges from yellow, orange, and red. Advancing colors appears to be closer in terms of composition. So let us compare that with a receding color. So a receding color is a cool color that appears to move away from an observer, giving an illusion of space. So receding colors or cool colors displays the color blues, green, and violet. In terms of composition, cool colors tend to visually recede and look smaller. Warm ang advancing, cool ang receding. Number 7, a phenomenon of light and visual perception that may be described in terms of an individual's perception of hue, saturation, and lightness for objects, and hue, saturation, and brightness for light sources. A, spectrum. B, perspective. C, optical scale. And D, color. And our correct answer is letter D, color. That is the definition of colors as per DK Ching's visual dictionary. A phenomenon of light and visual perception that may be described in terms of an individual's perception of hue, saturation, and lightness for objects, and hue, saturation, and brightness for light sources. On the other hand, spectrum is the distribution of energy emitted by a radiant source, arranged in order of wavelengths, especially the band of colors produced when sunlight is refracted and dispersed by a prism, comprising red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Number 8. What is the term for merging of juxtaposed dots or strokes of pure colors when seen from a distance to produce a hue often more luminous than that available from a premixed pigment? A, optical scale. B, optical illusion. C, optical mixing. And D, visual scale. And our correct answer is letter C, optical mixing. So it is the merging of juxtaposed dots or strokes of pure colors when seen from a distance to produce a hue often more luminous than that available from a pre-mixed pigment. To compare admixing versus optical mixing, admixing is physically blending two or more colors to create a new color. So if we are going to mix yellow and magenta, you will come up with orange. Or if we mix green and add magenta, you will get gray. So that is admixing color. Optical mixing is you have yellow and you have magenta, but you don't physically mix them. You place them in different locations such that when you view it from a certain distance, the overall color will appear to be different, no? So nagiging parang ano na to, orange from afar when viewed from afar. Number 9. What is a method or manner of jointing that makes the united parts clear, distinct, and precise in relation to each other? A. Massing, B. Visual texture, C. Articulation, and D. Organization. And our correct answer is letter C. Articulation. Articulation also refers to the manner in which the surfaces of a form come together to define its shape and volume. An articulated form clearly reveals the precise nature of its parts and their relationships to each other and to the whole. Its surfaces appear as discrete planes with distinct shapes, and their overall configuration is legible and easily perceived. In a similar manner, an articulated group of forms accentuates the joints between the constituent parts in order to visually express their individuality. So, a form can be articulated by, number 1, differentiating adjoining planes with a change in material, color, texture, or pattern. Number 2, developing corners as distinct linear elements independent of the abutting planes. And number 3, removing corners to physically separate neighboring planes. And lastly, lighting the form to create sharp contrast in tonal value along edges and corners. Number 10, of or pertaining to shapes and forms having an intellectual and effective content dependent solely on their intrinsic lines, colors, and relationship to one another. A. Geometric shape, B. Massing, C. Abstract, and D. Emphasis. And our correct answer is letter C, abstract. So that is the definition as per DK Ching's Visual Dictionary of Architecture. Number 11, characterized or produced by removal of a part or portion without destroying a sense of the whole. A. Additive, B. Subtractive, C. Transformation, and D. Editing. And our correct answer is letter B, subtractive. Again, this definition is from DK Ching's Visual Dictionary of Architecture. Additive, on the other hand, is characterized or produced by addition, accumulation, or uniting, often resulting in a new identity. So, yung subtractive is removal, ito ay addition. Number 12, the characteristic structure given to a surface or substance by the size, shape, arrangement, and proportions of the parts is called a pattern. B. Texture, C. Composition, and D. Party. And our correct answer is letter B, texture. So that is the definition as per DK Ching. Also, other definitions for texture is the visual and especially tactile quality of a surface apart from its color or form. Also, the visual and especially tactile quality given to a surface by the size, shape, arrangement, and proportions of the parts. Texture also determines the degree to which the surfaces of a form reflect or absorb incident light. Number 13. What do you call the arranging of parts or elements into proper proportion or relation so as to form a unified whole? A. Component, B. Figure, C. Composition, and D. Party. And our correct answer is letter C, composition. Number 14. What do you call the systematic arranging of interdependent or coordinated parts into a coherent unity or functioning whole? A. Composition, B. Articulation, C. Organization, and D. Union. And our correct answers, letter C, organization. Number 15. What color denotes authority and is usually related to mourning in some countries? A. White, B. Purple, C. Red, and D. Black. And our correct answer is letter D, black. So the color black is often associated with both authority and mourning. In many Western countries, black is the traditional color of mourning. And black is also linked to power, elegance, and formality, contributing to its association with authority. So these are the other meaning of black: elegance, depth, mystery, boldness, formality, formal or sophistication. Number 16. What traditional method for getting proportion and balance is being illustrated in this image? A. Full sizing, B. Golden section, C. Silver line, and D. Vitruvius law. And our correct answer is letter B, golden section. So it is a proportion between the two dimensions of a plane figure or the two divisions of a line, in which the ratio of the smaller to the larger is the same as the ratio of the larger to the whole, a ratio approximately 0.618 to 1,000, also called golden mean. Number 17. What is referred to as the origin of architecture? A. System of ornamentation or decoration. B. Practical usefulness of space. C. Protection from inclemency of the seasons. And D. Expression of structural systems. And our correct answer is letter C, protection from inclemency of the seasons. So early humans built shelters to protect themselves from the elements such as rain, sun, and cold. This basic need for shelter is considered the foundation of architecture. Structural systems and practical usefulness of space developed later as societies became more complex. Ornamentation and decoration also came later, initially as a way to express cultural beliefs or status. The fundamental purpose, however, remains the provision of shelter. Number 18. Which of the following represent the secondary colors? A. Green, orange, violet. B. Yellow, green, and blue. C. Green, yellow, violet. And D. Red, yellow, and blue. And our correct answers, letter A, green, orange, and violet, or purple. Number 19. What important event changes architecture to what is termed modern? A. Discovery of concrete. A. Metallurgy. C. Renaissance. And D. Industrial Revolution. And our correct answer is letter D, Industrial Revolution. So the Industrial Revolution brought about significant technological advancements like the development of steel, cast iron, and reinforced concrete, which allowed for taller, more complex structures with open spaces, fundamentally changing architectural design. These new materials and construction methods enabled architects to break away from traditional forms and usher in a new era of modern architecture. Number 20. What theory of architecture denotes not only the complete harmony of the parts of the building with the whole, but on integration of the building with its site and surroundings? A. Functional architecture. B. Vernacular architecture. C. Domestic architecture. And D. Organic architecture. And our correct answer is letter D, organic architecture. So organic architecture is a philosophy of architecture that promotes harmony between human habitation and the natural world. This concept extends beyond just making the parts of a building harmonious with each other. It also emphasizes the integration of the building with its site, surroundings, and even the environmental context. The term is most famously associated with Frank Lloyd Wright, who believed that architecture should appear as though it naturally grew from its site. Number 21. In perception of space, which of the following describes the olfactory sense? A. Affects room size, ceiling heights to avoid discomfort. B. Identifies materials limiting unpleasant odors. C. Identifies material distance. And D. Affects material to regulate transfer sound. And our correct answer is letter B, identifies materials limiting unpleasant odors. So the olfactory sense refers to the sense of smell. In the perception of space, olfaction plays a role in how occupants experience a space emotionally and physically. Certain materials or finishes can emit odors, pleasant or unpleasant. So selecting materials that limit or eliminate unpleasant odors helps enhance the comfort and quality of the environment. Number 22. What type of balance is that in which the elements are arranged in the same manner on either side of a central axis or line and gives the feeling of repose and order? A. Symmetrical, B. Contrasting, C. Equal, and D. Asymmetrical. And our correct answer is letter A, symmetrical. So symmetrical balance, also called the formal balance, occurs when elements are arranged equally on either side of a central axis, whether vertical, horizontal, or radial. This creates a sense of order, stability, and repose, and is often used in classical architecture and formal compositions. Number 23. In spatial analysis, negative space refers to A. The area under a building's foundation. B. A space formed by absence between objects or forms. C. A zone of structural weakness. And D. A dark zone in lighting studies. And our correct answer is letter B, a space formed by absence between objects or forms. So in spatial analysis, negative space refers to the empty or open areas around and between objects or forms. Negative space is just as important as positive solid forms in defining and organizing spatial compositions. It helps articulate relationships, create visual balance, and shape how we perceive architectural environments. Number 24. Which geometric form is considered normally stable and self-centering? A. Square, B. Rectangle, C. Circle, and D. Triangle. And our correct answer is letter C, circle. So the circle is a centralized introverted figure that is normally stable and self-centering in its environment. Placing a circle in the center of a field reinforces its inherent centrality. Associating it with straight or angular forms or placing an element along its circumference, however, can induce in the circle an apparent rotary motion. So circle is a plane curve, every point of which is equidistant from a fixed point within the curve. Number 25, a void in architecture serves primarily to A. Provide vertical structure, B. Enhance thermal insulation, C. Define space through absence of form, and D. Block visual connectivity. And our correct answer is letter C, define space through absence of form. So void is an empty space contained within or bounded by mass. Void is a space contained or enclosed by planes. So void as an essential architectural element helps define space, not by solid masses but through the absence of form. Voids create contrast, shape experience, and frame surrounding volumes, playing a critical role in spatial composition. Number 26. What type of circulation connects spaces of similar function, such as hallways in residential buildings? A. Radial circulation, B. Vertical circulation, C. Horizontal circulation, and D. Transitional circulation. And our correct answer is letter C, horizontal circulation. So this horizontal circulation refers to movement across a floor level, typically through corridors, hallways, or paths that connect spaces of similar function. In residential buildings, hallways commonly serve this purpose, linking bedrooms, bathrooms, and living areas within the same level. 27. Which of the following is not one of the basic possibilities for grouping two or more forms? A. Spatial tension, B. Interlocking volumes, C. Radial explosion, and D. Face-to-face contact. And our correct answer is letter C, radial explosion. So yung tatlong ito are part of this composition. When you say spatial tension, it is the type of relationship relies on the close proximity of the forms or their sharing of a common visual trait, such as shape, color, or material. Magkatabi, magkalapit. Edge-to-edge contact, on the other hand, is the type of relationship wherein the forms share a common edge, magkadikit yung kanto, and can pivot about that edge. And we have face-to-face contact. This type of relationship requires that the two forms have corresponding planar surfaces. So yung mga surface niya ang nagkadikit, no? Which are parallel to each other. And we have interlocking volumes. In this type of relationship, the forms interpenetrate each other's space. So the forms need not share any visual trace. So hindi nagkadikit yung edge, hindi nagkadikit yung face. Nag-interpenetrate. Okay, so 28, which form is generated by rotating a rectangle around one of its sides? A. Sphere, B. Cylinder, C. Cone, and D. Pyramid. And our correct answer is letter B, cylinder. So a cylinder is a solid that is generated by the revolution of a rectangle about one of its sides. A cylinder is centralized about the axis passing through the centers of its two circular faces. Along this axis, it can be easily extended. The cylinder is stable if it rests on one of its circular faces. It becomes unstable when its central axis is inclined from the vertical. Number 29. In architectural composition, hierarchy is used to A. Equalize all spatial elements. B. Ensure symmetry at all costs. C. Establish the importance of one element over others. And D. Maintain visual neutrality. And our answer is letter C, establish the importance of one element over others. So hierarchy is a system of elements ranked, classified, and organized one above another according to importance or significance. Hierarchy also means the articulation of the importance or significance of a form or space by its size, shape, or placement relative to the other forms and spaces of the organization. And lastly, what is datum? A color system used to unify elements. B. A line, plane, or volume that organizes a group of elements. C. A structural component used in cantilevering. And D. A decorative rhythm in facade design. And our correct answer is letter B, a line, plane, or volume that organizes a group of elements. So datum means a line, plane, or volume that by its continuity and regularity serves to gather, measure, and organize a pattern of forms and spaces. And that's it. So you can now count your total correct answers. And if your correct answers is 15 or less, time to think of a more strategic review. If you are interested to have a comprehensive preparation for the board exams, you can scan the QR code here and know more about Atlas CDC review courses. Watch out for my succeeding videos as well.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Enroll at Atlas CDC Review for a comprehensive prep for the architecture board exams. Message us now.